Canada Rumble 2017. There is no way we can come in this man's backyard and not ask him how he feels about the new crop of sound systems who are fighting to get that international fame coming from Canada. Talking about Ron Nelson, talking about someone who has been promoting the sound system culture, sound clash culture also for some time here in Canada. And how does it feel, Ron? Are you happy with what you're seeing now? Do the sounds here still have a far way to go? What's your vibe?
Let me see. The sounds are doing absolutely great right now. I think Canada is, this is where people are looking right now for new talent, a new trend, a new vibe, alternative skills. I guess in terms of what's going on in the rest of the world, Canada has become really the leading center for sound clash sounds birthing. There's a lot of young sounds right now, and they still have a long way to go. But this is an example of where you can go if you stick with it and keep doing your thing and persevering and just being consistent and believing in yourself. Being a sound is something that you you have to kind of keep believing in yourself, because there's not a lot of people that are going to support you in terms of saying you're doing something that's going to take you somewhere in life, so to speak. You know what I mean? It was like how people used to talk about being an artist before in hip hop and stuff. It's like, that's not going to get you anywhere. What, you go to college and be a lawyer and stuff like that. So I respect what these sound men do. They're dedicating their life to this, and cutting dub plates is a true art form, and art is also something that's always against the odds kind of thing. When you do it for, a living, it really becomes something that's unique, and I respect what these guys are doing, because nobody else in the world does it like them.
You were here last year, right? Correct? Was you at Rumble 16? Have you seen any growth? Have you seen any difference from 16 to 17? Or the guys, more relaxed? Are they playing more aggressive? How do you feel about these sounds? Because these are the sounds that you have a day-to-day relationship with.
Well, I kind of feel like with the absence of King Turbo in this clash tonight, there was a bit of an equilibrium of sorts. There's a bit of a balance. In my opinion, some of these sounds aren't necessarily the sounds that have achieved the highest levels in the past, or drawn the most people in the past, but there are some of the sounds that are fighting. They're the next generation to come. So it was good that they were able to be on a stage tonight competing without prejudice to be the next one. But I will say that the world-class champions, King Turbo, they are on a next level, despite what I saw tonight. And again, I don't want to be a hater, but tonight didn't come close to the level that King Turbo has taken this whole thing. So I respect King Turbo. They're still my sound. But tonight, yes, it was a good thing in terms of what's around the corner.
Do you think that, these sounds are going to be able to represent? But do you think they're going to be able to represent Canada with King Turbo still on that stage with them?
Well,
and I got to get an answer from you, Ron. And you're a man that's never short of words.
Well, when I came into this sound business, I came from hip-hop into reggae. And Ricky Turbo was the first one that took me aside and said, Ron, you're going to do something in this business to change up the story and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, from knowing Ricky Turbo, he is absolutely merciless. He will not have any mercy on King Atani or any other Canadian sounds. He's looking at it as like Ricky Turbo's the boss of Toronto when it comes to sound and being able to talk the talk. So it's going to be like having a little baby brother in this thing, and it's up to him whether he's going to be nice to his baby brother or whether he's going to bully his baby brother.
Wow.
If it comes down to survival, he's going to take them out like a sniper. And again, I'm trying to be neutral and objective, but yeah, good for King Atani tonight, but King Turbo's on a whole different level.
Wow.
World clash. And I have a question for you, Chin, because Chin is interviewing everyone tonight, but just as a technicality, I'm hearing rumors. So Rebel Tone is one of our best sounds, former world-class champion. I said, so what's up with Rebel Tone? Why aren't they in this thing? And I heard that they were invited at first, but then they were told afterwards that because they were a former world-class champion, they can no longer compete in Road to World Clash. So my question is, does that mean this is King Turbo's last opportunity to ever win World Clash, and same with Rebel Tone? So if
for some time. So the policy now to get this new crop of sounds exposed is that we're using that highest platform in the sound clash culture to introduce it to non-world class champions, non-iconic selectors. So you're not gonna go see a Mighty Crown or a Bass Odyssey or a Mataran or a Firelinks on world class for now. You know what I mean? Until we kind of get the thing bubbling back again. So yes, if King Turbo loses, they're gonna have to take a break from world class. So they gotta win again.
All right. Well, that's what I was hoping your answer would be, because I know sometimes you got to do things to kind of change things up.
Yeah, I have this saying now that's if you don't evolve, you're gonna dissolve. If we don't evolve it, we're gonna dissolve.
All right, so this for Irish and Chin. I got one more question. I'm Ron Nelson from Toronto. I respect what this man does. So I'm going to get to a question that's going to get to his heart and soul a little bit right now. I'm the journalist. I'm the paparazzi. So, Chin, a couple of years ago, you said to me that your son had absolutely no interest in Sound Clash whatsoever, and you feared that this was, again, representative of the new generation that is losing the whole attraction to Sound Clash. So you're wondering about whether or not we can really pass things on so that the next, the next generation can keep this game going at a higher level. So do you have any more inspiration? Do you have any more hope as a father, as a pioneer, as a Sound Clash promoter, as for where this whole business is going?
I'm still fighting, Ron. I'm still fighting with it, and I'm not the only one that shares that whole sentiments, right? A lot of us have kids that have no interest in going to a Sound Clash, participating in a Sound Clash, or even becoming a selector. It is a scary thing. It is a thing that kind of makes me very uneasy about the future of the business. But things like Rumble are things that I'm putting in place to see if we can kind of slowly get back the hype. I think that the younger the sounds are and the younger that the selectors are the younger that the audience that will follow them into the dance hall would be. So that's the secret. You know what I mean? Old people don't follow young sounds. Young people follow young sounds because young sounds play for young people, right? So the more we keep putting the veterans on the stage who are now 42, 43, 44, 45, the patrons are going to be that age as well, right? So if we stop for a minute, get the young blood in there, the young blood is going to bring their kids that they go to school with, they hang out on the corner with, they hang out on the barbershop with, and hopefully it will create a new interest amongst their generation. It's only something that I'm hoping works. You know what I mean? And if I put 5 years into this plan, because I want to make the Rise of New Champions a 5-year plan, and maybe at the end of the 5 years, I might have to try to do something else. Not walk away from Sound Clash, but come up with a different approach to maybe still, cater to the industry.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I mean, that's a great answer. And yeah, what more can I say? Congratulations on
Ron
tonight.
Nelson.
Nice.
When you speak about clashing and you speak about Canada.
King Atani probably, they're going to have a little attitude against me because I've been working with them for a long time, and sometimes they've come close to winning, and because of little this or that, they don't win, and they call me the next day and they just hate on me and call me all kind of names and stuff. You've been through it, Chin, you know what I mean? But I'm happy for them tonight, and they're a great sound. I'd say
I know that you will be at World Class 2017.
I'm always there, man. I'm always there. So